practice today in child's pose. So before we get started in the pose itself, there's just a couple things. If you have a blanket or if you have any props like a block or maybe like just like a hard book, like a hardback book, only if you need it, if you'd like to have some props with you. You don't need it, but it might be nice to take this time to grab a blanket or a pillow from the couch or anything that you might need to kind of assist your practice. Totally not necessary, but it might be nice to have something to work with throughout the practice. So we will start in child's pose. So we'll go in a wide knees child's pose, meaning that your knees are as wide as the mat. And you'll have your toes touching behind you, draping your torso in between your legs here, and then stretching the arms out as far in front of you as you can go, resting the forehead either on the mat or maybe on a blanket. And just starting to take a couple deep breaths here. Allowing the hips to sink back towards the heels. And starting to connect to the big belly breathing, so you'll feel the low abdomen expand on the inhale. And you'll feel the abdomen gently hug in on the exhale. And through this practice, we're really going to be focusing on grounding and presence. We're in a really crazy time right now, and it can be really easy to get stuck up in our heads and go into loads of different what-if scenarios. So we're really going to be focusing on connecting to the intention of grounding and to the intention of presence. So with every breath that we take in child's pose, we're going to connect to a different finger pressing down into the mat. So on your first breath in and breath out, you'll press down with your thumb. And then on the next breath in and breath out, you'll press down with your index finger into the mat. And you'll work your whole way with 5 deep breaths until you reach the pinky. Taking your time nice and slow, connecting to that slow and steady breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And when you reach the pinky in your own time, you're going to press the whole of the hand down into the mat, feeling that connection to the earth, to the stable foundation of the earth beneath us, keeping the breath going in and out through the nose, and pressing the hands down into the mat, maybe even lifting the elbows up off the mat, and having active arms here. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears, allowing the shoulders to drop down and away from the ears, and sinking the hips back into the heels just a little bit more. And then you can stay here if you like, or you can walk the hands over towards the right side of the mat. So both hands are over on the right side of the mat, getting a big stretch through the left side of the body, sinking those left hip bones and left sits bones down towards the heels. A long line of energy from the fingertips all the way to the pelvis. And we'll slowly start to walk the hands back towards center. And allowing the hands to walk over all the way to the left. Both hands over on the left side of the mat, sinking the hips back towards the right heels. Long line of energy. So we're also going to be working on really trying to allow our lymphatic system, the long energy lines through the sides of the body that help us clear out our toxins and help us just move the fluids in our body so we don't get stagnation, and through stagnation comes dis-ease. So we're really going to be moving the body in a way that helps and assists our lymphatic system to be able to start to clear out all the gunk. And slowly start to bring the hands back towards center, coming back to a child's pose just for one moment. And then when you feel ready, we'll come up onto hands and knees, so in a tabletop position. Bringing your shoulders over your wrist here and your hips over your knees. This might be a nice time to bring a blanket under the knees. If you like to pad the knees a little more, you might be on a harder surface than you're used to. A blanket is sometimes nice here. Great. We're just moving into a couple rounds of cow-cat. So on an inhale, we'll tilt the pelvis up towards the sky, drop the belly down towards the mat, bringing the chest through the arms, and then maybe the gaze goes up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, press through the hands, tuck the tailbone under, and round the chin in, really pressing the back of the heart up towards the sky. On the inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze up. And exhale, press through the hands, round through your spine, and tuck the chin. Moving at your own pace here, so we're linking the breath with the movement. The beginning of the breath is the beginning of the movement, and the end of the breath is the end of the movement. So moving in your own speed here, we'll all be moving at different paces, different speeds, maybe closing the eyes, allowing the spine to wake up after hopefully a long night of sleep for you. And then you can continue with this movement if you like, of the cow and the cat, or you might like to start to move the hips in circles around in one direction. You might like to do little barrels with the body, kind of really allowing the pelvis and the shoulders to sweep around in a big circle, just moving in a way that feels good for you, waking up the body. And doing about 5 rounds in one direction and then 5 rounds in the other. Again, keeping that connection with the breath and the movement. Then we'll all come back to a tabletop position. We're going to tuck the toes under, so the toes are tucked, the balls of the feet are resting down on the mat, and we're going to sink back onto our heels. So you might want to keep the hands down on the mat. This might be enough for the back of your feet stretch, or you might like to bring the hands up onto your thighs, stacking the spine over the hips. It just gets a little bit more into the backs of the feet here. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears, maybe closing the eyes, taking a deep breath in, and a long breath out. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Beautiful, and on your 3rd breath, we'll bring the hands back down to the mat. If they aren't already, untuck the toes, pad the feet out onto the mat. And then we'll sink back onto the heels in our hero's pose here. If this is a little much for your knees, you can just come down into a cross-legged, easy pose, Sukhasana. And we're gonna just wake up, like I said, through the lymphatic system. So it's this area that runs up through the armpits, down the sides of the body, up through the neck. So we're gonna bring our hands onto our shoulders here and just start to do some big circles with the elbows, starting to wake up through the chest. And again, you can move as slowly or as fast as you like. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. You might hear some cracks and niggles through the shoulder here. Then we're going to do kind of the same thing, but we're going to release the hands and really allow the whole of the chest to get involved. So moving in one direction, almost like a butterfly if you've done swimming before, like you're scooping the arms, going forward, and really allowing the whole of the chest to open as the arms come back. Maybe closing the eyes if this feels nice. Starting to build a little bit of heat, a little bit of movement. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. And it might feel a bit funny. Beautiful. And then we're going to come up onto our knees here, so standing up on our knees. And we're gonna bring the arms up overhead and clasp onto opposite elbows. So pressing down through the knees, reach up with the elbows, take a deep breath in. Then on the exhale, we're gonna lean over to the right. Starting to open up the chest, maybe rotating the heart up towards the sky as you lean the body a little more over to the right. Then we'll take an inhale, come up, and exhale over to the left. Again, rotating the chest up towards the sky. With every inhale, feeling the sides of the rib cage, the lungs really expand, sending gratitude for our ability to take a deep breath in right now and a long breath out. And inhale, coming back up to center. We'll release the hands down onto the floor, tuck the toes, going into our first down dog. So stepping the hands and feet far enough apart that you can get a good length through the spine. You can have the feet a little more than hips distance apart. And you might want to bend the knees here so that the low back can be nice and long. We're pressing down into the knuckles and the finger pads here. So we're really allowing the hands to press our tailbone up towards the sky. And over time, once we get a little bit more warm up through the legs, you're going to have to start to drive those heels down towards the earth. But for now, we can keep the knees bent so that the low back can be really lengthened and long. Just maybe nodding the head yes and shaking the head no, allowing any stagnation through the neck to release. Finding your breath through the pose. And then in your own time, we're slowly going to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. Nice and slow, feeling the bottoms of the feet connect to the mat here, connecting to our connection to the earth. Making sure everyone can see. Beautiful. Hanging here in a forward fold. So again, you can keep the knees bent, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. So when you're upside down like this, that means pulling the shoulders up. And then you're allowing the top of the head to really reach forward down towards the earth. So you might want to rock a little forward into the balls of the feet. Just noticing how that feels, maybe rocking forward and backwards, how rocking forward might give you a little more length through the spine. And then you might like to clasp onto opposite elbows again, allowing the weight of the gravity to pull the spine and lengthen the spine down towards the earth. And stillness might be calling your name right now, or perhaps you're really wanting to get some movement in, so you might like to rock side to side, opening up through the sides of the low back by the kidneys. And then we'll release the hands, and we're going to slowly round up one vertebrae at a time, press down through the feet, and keep the knees slightly bent as we allow the back body to rise, the whole front body up to meet at the top of the mat, stacking the head over the shoulders of the very last thing to come up. As we inhale, reach the arms up overhead, nice and wide. Bring the palms to touch, and exhale, have the hands come down through to heart center. Beautiful. One more time, we'll reach the arms up. And exhale, bring the hands down through to the heart. All right. We're going to bring the hands down by our side, moving into our Tadasana. So Tadasana means mountain pose. You're going to bring the feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. The hands are by your side with the palms facing forward, and the fingertips are really reaching down towards the earth. So we have active arms here. And then almost feel like the backs of your hands are getting pushed back maybe 1 or 2 inches, so it opens up the chest a little more too. We're going to start from the feet, so lift the toes up off the mat, press down through the heels and the balls of the feet, and then slowly, one by one, lower the toes down, spreading them out on the mat. Nice and grounded feet. Notice how that might lift the thigh bones up off, or the thighs up off the bone. And you might get a little bit of activation through the glutes here. Hug the belly in slightly. Again, keep those fingers nice and active. And then we're gonna have a slight tuck of the chin here so the neck can be long too. You can close the eyes, pressing down through the feet as you reach up with the top of the head. And as you take a breath in, feel that long line of energy from the earth through the feet, through the legs, the torso, up through the heart and the crown of the head. And as you take a breath out, feel the long line of energy from the crown of the head all the way down and out through the feet. Taking 5 rounds of breath here, keeping every muscle engaged and active. So although we're standing still, we're still activating and engaging. And as you breathe in and out, feel the rib cage expand, our capacity to take in breath, the gratitude for the breath itself. Beautiful, and then you can release all the muscles, just get a little like jiggle out here, and we're gonna do what a lot of my coaches talk about is lymphatic draining through trampolining, which is really fun, but I don't think any of us probably have a trampoline on us, so we're gonna pretend. And through the act of the bouncing, I guess, it really allows the body to just loosen up. And through this time, we probably feel a lot of tightness in the chest, and we might feel a little bit of bracing in the belly, and probably a lot of energy rushing up through the head as we start to make these really big decisions on, do I go to work, and what are we going to do about groceries, and all the things that are happening right now that we don't want to ignore. We also want to make sure that we're in our body and we're feeling present in our body. So you can close your eyes, you can turn the video off, whatever you'd like to do. We're going to start by just maybe shaking out the legs side to side, releasing any of the tightness through the legs we created through Tadasana. And then you might want to do both legs at the same time, like as you bounce both legs, just little bounces here. You don't need to jump or anything. But as you do that, you might feel the hands start to get involved. I'll move to the side so you might be able to see a bit better. And you might allow the chest to kind of get involved, and maybe the head bounces side to side. And notice where you might be holding on to any bit of bracing or any bit of holding on at this stage, allowing the arms to really just flap around as you allow the natural bounce to happen, like you're a little kid double bouncing each other on the trampoline. And then you'll really just allow the neck to kind of flop around too in a way that feels safe for you. And then you might want to take some deep breaths as you breathe in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Really letting the chest and the shoulders get involved here. It's usually where we hold a lot of our tension and our tightness. I know it feels funny and strange, and you might have a husband or a dog laughing at you right now, but just let it go. 2 more times, let it all go. Allow the bounce to really take over. Allow the glutes to release. Allow the chest and the shoulders to release. 1 more breath in. And then slowly start to recoil the bounce. So maybe the shoulders and the arms stop, but the legs are still kind of bouncing just a little bit, and the head maybe starts to come back to center, and then slowly the legs stop the bouncing, and you're kind of in this still space, but you might feel a little bit of energy running through the body. Just pausing here for a moment. And when you feel ready, we'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale, bend the knees flat back, lower down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, so we press down through the feet, bring the palms to the shins. Press the palms into the shins and straighten the arms. So you're really putting a lot of activity and engagement in the arms here. As you press the palms into the shins, you'll feel the crown of the head, the top of the head reach forward, and the tailbone reaching backwards. We'll squeeze the shoulder blades together, hug the belly in, really active pose here. And then exhale, fold and release. Allow the head to reach down towards the mat. 1 more time, halfway lift, press down through the feet, palms to the shins, squeeze the shoulder blades, and exhale, fold. We'll plant the hands on the mat and step the left foot back into a low lunge. So the left foot is back, the heel is up, making sure that our right knee is over our ankle, just setting up here. And then we'll lower our left knee down onto the mat or onto a blanket. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up overhead into a low lunge. As you exhale, move a little bit more forward into the front knee, getting a stretch through the back thigh here. Drop the shoulders down. We're spiraling those inner legs in towards each other, so hugging the legs in towards each other. Really stable bottom half and a light and spacious upper half. Taking a deep breath in. And then as we exhale, lower the hands to frame the front foot, pick the back knee up, and step back into a plank position. As we hold here in plank, press down through the hands, kicking out through the heels, so pressing back with your heels to allow the muscles in the legs to engage. Our eyes are looking down so the neck is long, and we're imagining our wrists are dragging towards our toes, and our toes are dragging towards our wrists. Like we want to bunch up the middle of our mat here, starting to create a little more heat through the body. And then as we exhale, we'll lower the knees down onto the mat, bring the shoulders just a couple inches over the wrists there, and keep the elbows as we lower down glued to your side body the whole way down as we lower the chest, the belly, down onto the mat. As you inhale, you'll come up into a baby cobra. So squeezing the legs in towards each other, hugging the shoulders and lifting the chest up off the mat. And then as you exhale, lower the forehead down, press down into the hands, tuck the toes, and push back up into a downward facing dog. Pausing here just for a moment. Taking 3 to 4 long, deep breaths, feeling the tailbone reaching up towards the sky as your heels are driving down towards the mat. And then on your next breath in, we're going to sweep the left foot up towards the sky. And then exhale, hug the knee in towards the chest and start to drop the left foot in between the hands. If the foot comes down about halfway, grab the ankle and just bring the foot up towards the hands. Again, setting ourselves up here, checking that the knee is in line with the ankle. And then we'll lower the back knee down towards the mat. Hug those legs in towards each other and inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. As you breathe out, move forward into the front knee so we get a long line of sensation through the front of this back thigh here. And drop the shoulders down towards the sides of the body. Staying here for 2 rounds of breath. Pressing down through the feet as you reach up with the fingertips, opposing actions here. And then as you breathe out, we'll bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Pick up the back knee there, so tuck the toes, and then we're going to step the back foot to meet the front foot, hanging in a forward fold at the front of the mat. As you inhale, bring the palms to the shins, halfway lift, get length through the spine, and then exhale, fold. As we press down through the feet, bend the knees, sweep the arms out by the side, reverse swan dive, reach all the way up, and exhale, bring the hands down through to the heart. Beautiful, inhale, we're sweeping and reaching those fingertips up. Exhale, bend the knees, flat back, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins, squeeze those shoulder blades. And exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back, low lunge. Dropping the back knee down, you know where we're going. Inhale, sweep those fingertips up into a low lunge, half crescent lunge here. And exhale, move forward into the front knee. Staying here for 1 more breath in. And exhale, lower the hands down. Pick the back knee up, press down through the hands, and step back into plank. Holding plank for a breath in. And as you breathe out, you can come down through your chaturanga, either onto the knees or through high plank. We glue the elbows down the whole way as you reach down towards the earth. And then inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're here in downward dog for 3 breaths, finding your focus, calming the heart rate down, reaching the tailbone up as the heels drive down. And on your next breath in, we'll sweep the right leg up towards the sky. And exhale, hug the knee in towards the chest, bringing the foot in between the hands, or as close to as possible. We'll drop the back knee down, hug those legs in towards each other, press down through the feet as you inhale, reach the fingertips up. Pausing here for a moment. Feeling the connection of the feet pressing down into the earth. Then as we exhale, frame the front foot, tuck the toes, the back toes, pick up the back knee and step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Pausing here in a fold just for a moment. Taking 5 full and complete breaths. Feeling the belly rise on the inhale and the belly fall on the exhale. And from here you might like to again shake the head yes, shake the head no. Just really allowing all the contents of the brain to spill out onto the mat, letting go. Any worries, any sensations, any stresses, just really allowing it to flop out. I'm sure your mat has seen a lot over the years. This is no different. They're always here for us. And then when we're ready, we'll press down through the feet and we'll slowly start to roll up one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow, allowing the back body to do the work, the back of the legs to do the work. And then inhale, reach the arms up as you come up to the top. And exhale, bring the hands down through to the heart. We'll bring the hands by our side into Tadasana again, pressing down through the feet. Active legs, reaching the fingertips down towards the earth. Squeezing the shoulder blades together so the chest is open and maybe tucking the chin in towards the chest so the neck can be long. You can close the eyes here again, feeling the breath ride up from the earth through the body, out through the crown of the head. And feeling the breath ride down from the crown of the head, out and down through the feet. And when you're ready, we'll bring the arms up overhead. We're going to clasp onto opposite elbows. You might want to bring the feet a little bit wider apart, maybe even mat distance apart here. So we're going to move into more of that lymphatic drain exercises that we've been doing. So we're going to start by just moving in little circles, like you have little pencils at the tips of your elbows and you're just drawing little circles on the ceiling. And again, you're keeping your legs nice and stable through this process. You're just drawing little circles, and then maybe those circles get a little bigger, opening the chest and closing the chest a little more, getting into the sides of the body. And over time, those circles keep on getting bigger and bigger, and the side bends become bigger and bigger. You might feel some sensation through the armpits or the lats, the laterals, or the rib cage here. Keeping the legs super stable as we allow the upper body to feel safe to do this. And you can stay here if you have no lower back issues. You might want to really do some big sweeps and allow the elbows to sweep down towards the earth and up and around. Like you're drawing one giant circle with your elbows here. Keeping the breath steady and smooth. If you're getting a little dizzy, you can just pause at the center. And find your grounding. And then we'll inhale, we'll all come back up to center. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, press the air away. All right. We're going to bring the hands to the hips at the top of the mat. We're going to step our right foot back, going into Warrior Two. So with Warrior Two, we have the front toes pointing forward and the back toes pointing towards the side. And we have the front heel so that it intersects the middle of the back foot there. So you're on a little bit of a tightrope with Warrior Two. You're going to bend into the front knee, making sure that the knee's in line with the ankle there. It's not going too far forward. You can feel the difference as you pull back on that. It might feel a little more stable having the knee over the ankle. And then just checking that we can see our big toe. We'll bring the arms out towards our side. Again, active arms, so reaching forward and backward with the fingertips. And bringing the gaze over the first two fingers here of your front hand, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. We're pressing down through the feet, so we're nice and stable on the bottom and light and spacious on the top. We're here for 5 breaths, so really becoming present and focused in this pose, noticing what happens when we slow the pose down. Maybe the mind starts to race a little bit, or you start to look around the room, really focusing on being here now. 2 more breaths. And on your next breath in, we're going to flip the front palm, bring the back hand towards the back leg, and reach the front fingertips up towards the sky. So we're not really trying to reach backwards in this pose. It's more of a lifting up, keeping this front knee as bent as possible. We have a tendency to lift out of this when we do this pose. Keep the front knee as bent as possible as we reach those fingertips up towards the sky. And when you inhale, feel the whole side of the body, the whole rib cage expand. And as you exhale, feel it contract back in, allowing for more breath and more capacity for prana to enter into the body. And on your next breath out, we'll bring the forearm onto the thigh here, or perhaps you have a block and you'd like to bring the hand towards the block on the inside of the left foot, reaching those back fingertips up towards the sky. Just noticing if there's any bit of collapse happening on the left rib cage, if we can find a little more length through the bottom rib cage there, reaching those back fingertips up. And you might like to bring that back arm in line with the ear here. So long line of energy from the back foot all the way to the floating arm. Beautiful, 1 more breath. And then on the next inhale, press down through the feet and use your waist to come the whole way back up to warrior 2. Flip the front palm, reverse warrior. And exhale, coming back to warrior 2. We'll bring the hands to the hips, and we're going to bring both toes to point towards the side there, so that both toes are parallel to each other. The feet are parallel in a wide-legged position here. Keeping the hands to the hips, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up through the heart, and on the exhale, we'll lower the torso down towards the earth. You can bring the hands down onto the mat and tuck the chin in towards the chest. And again, you might like to shake the head yes and shake the head no. And you can stay here in stillness and wide-legged forward fold, or you might like to bring the right hand down in front of your face on the mat or maybe onto a block. And on an inhale, sweep those left fingertips up towards the sky, opening the chest over towards the left, trying to keep the hips as square as possible here, so pressing down with equal weight into both feet. And on the exhale, lowering the hand down, swapping sides, left hand presses down, sweeping those right fingertips up towards the sky so the chest is opening out towards the right. Press down through the feet to stay grounded. And exhale, fold. Coming back to center here in warrior or wide-legged forward fold. Then we're going to inhale, halfway lift. So coming up onto the fingertips here, find length through the spine. And then we're going to walk the hands over towards the back foot here, over towards your right foot, and start to pivot that right foot so the toes are pointing towards the back wall or towards the back of your mat. We're going to bend into the front knee and then windmill those arms all the way up into warrior 2. Warrior 2 on the right side now. And if we're on opposite sides, that's perfectly fine. You can just get yourself set up. So again, making sure that those feet are in alignment, the back heel is in line with the middle of the back foot, those toes are pointing in the right direction. Arms are reaching out at shoulder height. Active arms here, so engage through the triceps, reach the front fingertips forward, and reach the back fingertips back. Our gaze is over the first 2 fingers here, and notice what happens as we slow down for 5 breaths. And on your 5th breath, we'll flip the front palm, bring the back hand towards the back of the leg, and inhale, reach those fingertips up towards the sky. Again, remember keeping the depth in the knee there as we bend, as we reach those fingertips up towards the sky, breathing in, feeling the whole of the rib cage expand. And as we breathe out, feeling the rib cage contract back in. On our next breath out, bringing the forearm down onto the front thigh, or maybe the block towards the inside of the front foot there. Just noticing your range of motion today, how it feels. We're sweeping those back fingertips up towards the sky. Pausing here for a moment, rotating the chest and the heart up towards the ceiling. And you can stay here. You might like to bring the floating arm up and over the ear. So you're in a long line of energy from the back toes, the back heel there, all the way to the fingertips. Again, rotating the chest up towards the sky, getting a little more length. And then on the breath out, press down through the heels, use your waist, come the whole way back up to Warrior 2. Flip the front palm, reverse Warrior one more time. And exhale, coming back to Warrior 2. All right, we're gonna come back to where the toes are pointing towards the same direction, but this time we're gonna have the toes pointing out and the heels pointing in. Toes pointing out and heels pointing in. Moving into our goddess pose. So we're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, and as we exhale, we're gonna bring the hands down through to the heart, bend the knees, coming into a bit of a squat here. And just noticing as you're in this squat, if the knees have a tendency of rolling in, can we press the knees backwards so that they're in line with the ankles? And then inhale, press down through the heels, open out, open the arms. Exhale, hands comes down through the heart, come down into your squat. Couple more times, inhale, press down through the heels, reach up with the fingers. Exhale, lower down. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And as we breathe out, we'll come all the way down into our squat, holding here, press down through the heels. Feel the connection of the earth as you draw up through the heels in towards the pelvis, as the thighs kind of contract in towards the hip bones here. Keeping really stable on the bottom and light and spacious on the top. One more breath. And then as we take the next breath in, straighten the legs, open up the arms. Instead of squatting this time, just bring the hands down through to the heart. We'll bring the hands to the hips and we'll step to the top of the mat. Inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhale, bend the knees, flat back, forward fold. We're gonna bring the fingertips, so bringing the 2 peace fingers, which is our index finger and middle finger. We're gonna wrap those 2 fingers around the inside of the big toe, getting a peace grip here. And if this doesn't seem accessible today, you can just use a block, or you can have a pillow and place the hands down onto that. And as you have whatever grip that you have, we'll inhale, find length through the spine, straighten through the arms, and then exhale, bend the elbows out towards the sides as you gather the torso in towards the body, hug the chin in towards the chest. And just like we did before at the beginning of class, maybe bring a little bit more of your weight into the balls of the feet here. And notice how that might change, how you can lengthen through the spine a little more, and maybe feel a little more sensation through the backs of the legs. Starting to slow the heart rate down. And then we're going to release the grip. Keep the feet pressing down into the mat, bend the knees, and slowly round up, allowing the back body to do the work. Really staying heavy in the front body as the back body rolls ourselves up. As the head's the last to come up, we reach the arms up overhead on a big breath in. And we bring the hands down through to the heart on the breath out. All right. We're going to bring the arms up overhead, clasp onto opposite elbows. Just trying to remember what side you did the circles on before. Maybe you would have gone in one direction before, so maybe just take this time to notice. And now we're going to go in the opposite direction. If you can't remember, just do a couple in one direction and a couple in the other. It's okay. But again, starting really small here. Really small with the circles, just starting to warm up. Keeping those feet firmly pressed down into the stability and the foundation of the earth as we allow the upper half of the body to explore. And then those circles might get a little bit bigger, allowing the lungs and the sides of the body to expand. And then they might get even bigger. And then it might even get so big that the elbows start to drop down towards the earth as you do big circles all the way around. Keeping that intention of draining out and detoxing and letting the fluids move within the body and getting that stagnation to just start to move. I always do this particular technique when I feel maybe a little bit of congestion or maybe a little bit of a respiratory thing going on. This helped a lot for me when I was in India and had there was so much pollution. I probably did this every day. So just know that you can take the techniques that we practice through this Hatha class and use what you need to use every day. And then we'll slowly start to come back to those little circles, starting to come back to center. If you feel a little dizzy, just pause and take a deep breath. And then we'll exhale, press the air away. All right. One last time, we'll inhale, sweeping the arms up. And as we exhale, bend the knees, flat back, lower down. We'll inhale, halfway lift here. And exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. You can choose to run through our lowering down into baby cobra, back to downward facing dog, or you can simply choose to rest the knees as wide as the mat, toes to touch, sinking back into a child's pose. Honoring where your body's at, honoring where your energy levels are at. If you're in a down dog, we'll all eventually knee into a child's pose. Knees as wide as the mat, toes to touch behind, draping the body down onto the mat. And starting to connect back in with your big belly breathing. So if you're on downward facing dog, come down into a child's pose. And with your child's pose, really connecting to the hands pressing down into the mat, feeling the breath coming in through the nose and entering into every cell of the body. And as you breathe out, allowing the body to release and expel anything it needs to keep you healthy and safe. Allowing that exhale to be somewhat of a surrender. And when you feel ready, we'll slowly start to walk the hands in towards the body, so you're stacking the spine over the hips. And we'll bring our hips down onto the mat, finding one side that works for you, and bring the legs out in front. So we're going to bring the legs out in a wide position. So maybe let's start with the left leg. I'm trying to see if you can see me. Yeah, I think you can. We'll have the left leg out and the right foot in towards the inside of the left leg. So you can bring this left leg as wide out as feels comfortable for you, and this right foot is just the sole of the foot towards the inner leg. And we're gonna bring our left elbow either down towards the inside of the right knee, or if that's not accessible, maybe a block or a book or a blanket, whatever you have around you. Bringing that elbow down onto some sort of support. And we're using this elbow as kind of a lever here to open the chest. So we're opening the chest out towards the right side, maybe up towards the ceiling. We're starting here, so this is our starting point. Flexing your left foot as well so the leg is active. And you can stay here. You might like to inhale, reach the right fingertips up, and then exhale, bring those fingertips up and over as if you're reaching for your left toes. And you might be really flexible and you can touch your left toes. That's great. Not exactly the goal. As long as we're feeling a nice stretch through the side of the body on the right side, then we're doing our job. And again, you can stay here if you'd prefer to be in stillness, or you might like to start to move the arm in a circular position. So you're reaching for those left toes. You're allowing the chest to kind of come down towards the mat, sweep the arm out towards the side, and then inhale up and over again. So you're just doing a big circle here, keeping the breath connected as you inhale, reach up, and exhale, come down, allowing the chest to kind of explore this circular movement as well. And again, you can stay in stillness if that's what you prefer. Keeping the left foot flexed here. So we have a stable bottom half and a light and spacious upper half, how the two can exist at the same time. Doing one more circle. And then inhale up and over. And then as we exhale, we'll release the hand and bring the body back towards center. We're gonna place our right hand back behind us, so it's back behind our sit bone there. And then as we inhale, we're gonna press down into our right shin and lift the hips up just for a little bit of a release. Open the left hand out, and then exhale, come back down. Beautiful. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest and swap sides. So now the right leg is out straight towards the side, and the left foot is in towards the inside of the leg. Again, choosing your option, whether you're reaching down with your elbow connecting to the inside of the knee, or perhaps you're using a block or some sort of prop here. Pressing the elbow down and then opening the chest, starting that first before we lift the hand, opening the chest out towards the side, up towards the ceiling. And then we'll inhale, reach the left fingertips up, and then exhale, allow the arm to come up and over so it's a little bit closer to the ear, your biceps a little bit closer to your ear. And you're reaching those fingertips up and over towards your right toes. Right toes are flexed so the leg is nice and engaged. And then again, you can stay here in stillness, or you might like to exhale, start to round the chest down towards the earth, allowing the fingertips to sweep across the floor. And then inhale, reach the fingertips up and over again. Connecting to your own speed, your own pace of movement based on your breath. Beautiful, doing one more big circle. And as you come up and over, just here for a moment. And then exhale, coming back to center. You'll bring the hand back behind you, your left hand back behind you. And as you inhale, press down into your left shin. Open the hips up towards the front or up towards the sky. Allow the right fingertips to kind of drop back behind you. And then exhale, come all the way back down. Beautiful. We'll gather the legs in towards the chest so that the soles of the feet are pressing down onto the mat. And if you're not towards the front of the mat, I recommend coming because we're going to start to roll back down. So you want to make sure that you have enough space to roll down onto your mat. We're gonna press the feet down into the mat. So again, keeping that connection with the earth. We're really keeping a focus on pressing those big toes down. We're gonna reach those fingertips forward. And as we roll down, keep the connection of the feet against the earth as you start to roll the body down one vertebrae at a time, from the lower back to the middle back to the upper back. Going as slowly as you'd like, and the slower you go, the more of a core workout you'll get. So it's totally up to you if you just want to flop straight down. And once you reach the very bottom of your hold, you just allow the body to rest and relax. We're going to bring the feet as wide as the mat. So the feet are still pressing down. Feet are as wide as the mat. We're going to knock the knees over towards the right side. So both knees are coming over onto the right side so that you're on the blades of the feet here. So your knees are in the direction of the right side. And you can stay here if this feels like enough of an internal rotation of that left hip there. Or if you'd like a little more, you can lift your right foot and bring it up and over the left knee, allowing gravity to kind of do the work there, pulling the left knee down towards the earth. You might feel a little bit of a crack through the low back. And then you can bring the arms up and overhead, clasping onto opposite elbows, only if it feels right for you. Choosing an option that honors your body and honors your mobility today. Wherever you are, we're all going to keep our awareness here at the area just below the armpits, around the rib cage, really feeling the breath entering in through the body, feeling our capacity and our ability to breathe, sending gratitude to the fact that we can breathe with ease and grace today. And as you exhale, feeling the body do its job as it releases the toxins and expels anything it needs to expel to keep us healthy and safe. Knowing that our body does everything it needs to do to keep us its number one priority. And practicing movement and yoga and conscious breath and lots of water and rest is what we can do for our body. When you feel ready, if you have the foot hooked, you'll unhook the foot from the left knee and bring the right foot back down to the earth. Bring both knees back to center. You can unclasp onto the elbows and bring the hands by your side. And then we'll just bring the knees over towards the left now, so opposite side, choosing an option of this pose that you prefer. So you might like to just stay here, or you can bring your left foot up and over the right knee, allowing gravity to pull the right knee down towards the earth just a little bit more. And then you might like to take it just one step further by bringing the arms up and overhead and clasping onto elbows again. Again, whichever option we're on, whatever option we choose, we keep our awareness at the breath and how it is expanding through the chest and contracting through the chest with every breath in and every breath out. And we'll slowly release that left foot down onto the mat. Bring both knees back up to center. Allow the hands to come down by your side. And then one leg at a time, we'll straighten out down onto the mat, maybe keeping the legs as wide as the mat. You can have maybe a blanket underneath the knees, or perhaps you'd like a blanket over your body or an eye pillow, just setting yourself up for your Shavasana. The arms can be by your side with the palms face up, or perhaps you'd like to bring the palms face down on the low abdomen. Palms face up is more of like a receiving the energy, and the palms face down is more of a grounding energy. So just deciding, maybe going with your first instinct, your body's first instinct on what you needed. And taking any last little moments here to adjust the neck, the body, the tailbone, whatever you need to adjust so that this can be the most restful and the most easeful Shavasana that you can find yourself in, allowing the Shavasana to integrate all the poses that we've just done, the different techniques, the different breathing, the different physical postures. Taking this moment for yourself, your energy, your immune system, your family, knowing that what you do for yourself is what you're doing for others. With every exhale, feeling the surrender into the support and safety of the earth beneath you. So I really recommend, if you have a little more time today, to just stay in Shavasana for a couple more minutes. I normally teach a longer class, but I know we're all working from home or have other things going on. So if you have more time, please stay in Shavasana for a couple more minutes and just allow yourself to be here now. But if you prefer to close the practice at this time, we'll start to take a couple more deep breaths into the body, awakening the body, signaling to the body that we're transitioning into a more active state. And you might like to bring your thumb to each fingertip, waking up through the hands, and you might like to scrunch up the toes and move the wrists out, or maybe shake the head side to side against the mat. Whenever you feel ready and called to, you can either roll over onto one side and then gently press yourself up, or if you'd like to just sit straight up into a comfortable seat. We'll all meet there. Unless you're luxuriously staying in Shavasana, then I'm really happy for you. And when you reach to a comfortable seat, if you are joining us in a seat, just keep your eyes closed just for a little bit longer, allowing the journey to stay inwards before we start to interact with the world again. Just noticing the quality of the breath, perhaps from that beginning breath we did in child's pose to now. Noticing the quality of your mental, emotional state, of your physical state. Perhaps there's just a word you'd like to place for this practice that just happened. Then we're going to place one hand over the heart and then the other hand over that hand. So just both hands over the heart here. And if there's just one little piece of advice that you can give yourself to get through this day, just focusing on today and the moment now, if there's one piece of advice that you can give yourself, maybe just a word or a feeling or just a couple of words strung together, allowing yourself to send that advice into your heart, those loving words into your heart, knowing that we can only control what we can control, and everything that's outside of that, we let go into the surrender. feel ready, we'll bring the hands into prayer, so the palms to touch with the thumbs gently grazing the sternum here, gently grazing the center of the chest. We'll take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much